So now we'll talk about Arthur Cecil Pigou, which was one of the contributors to the welfare economics. And he actually succeeded Marshall in the chair of political economy at the Cambridge University. Um, he was a leading neoclassical economist after the death of his predecessor Marshall. And like Marshall, he expressed humanitarian impulse towards the poor, hoping that economic science would lead to social improvement. So basically, I want to make an important remark, which means that, for example, Pigot and Vilfredo were focused on the economy, but if you were paying attention, you would notice that they were actually focused on improving people's income so they could have a better life and they could be more happy and more pleasurable. And for example, Pigot hoped to provide his theoretical basis for a government to enact measures that promoted welfare. As an economist, he was concerned with economic welfare, defined as the part of social welfare that can be brought directly or indirectly into relation with the measuring or the rod of money. But unlike Pareto, for example, who cast his theories in terms of general economic equilibrium, Bigot continued in the old welfare tradition of Smith, Bentham, and Marshall, relying mainly on equilibrium analysis. What it means basically is that uh, Pigou was, since Wilfredo was more in he was considered the new welfare economics. Pigou was known more for the old welfare economics, just to make that important remark. And then now we'll talk a bit about income redistribution. Basically, it means that money diminishes as more is acquired. So the more money you have, at the same time, more is going out. So Pigou asserted that greater equality of income under certain conditions could increase economic welfare. Also, that most significant deviation from orthodox theory lay in his focus on the divergence between social and private marginal cost and benefits. Private marginal cost of commodity or service is the expense the producer incurs in making one or more unit. The social marginal cost is the expense or damage to society as a consequence of producing that unit of product. But likewise, the private marginal benefit of a commodity is measured by the extra satisfaction. Um, where was I? The marginal benefit of a commodity is measured by the extra satisfaction it provides to the buyer, of course. Social marginal benefit is the extra satisfaction society gets from the production of that one unit added. And then these external costs and benefits or externalities spill over to other parties and are sometimes referred to as spillover effects. For example, Pigou sparks from railway engines that may do damage to surrounding woods or crops without their owners being compensated for the damage. So social costs, therefore, are greater than the private cost to the railway. And then the net private marginal products exceeds the social net product. And then for one of the final points is that Pigou idea is to have full employment, like for wherever you are. But it means that if you have more employment, like everybody has a job, weirdly, people will start to save less money, but they will also start to consume more of their surroundings. So they will start to spend more.
Let me go back because there is something important about Pigou that you did not mention. Just the previous slide, please. With what externalities. Most of you agree that the market is the best way to allocate resources, right? I mean, you even disagree with the state intervention in the economy. And we had from the neoclassical school, because Pigou was a student following Marshall ideas, who has a key evidence, is not the only one, that the market is not always the best option to allocate resources. So run, that invisible hand is not true. And one reason is, among many others, because the market is failing, market failures. One of the most important is this: there are externalities in production and in consumption. And because of Pigou, still today, we are following his recommendations. Let's think about an externality in consumption. It's quite popular in Mexico, about sodas, Coke, Coca-Cola. Do you know there's an unhealthy drink, right? We had troubles with this sugar in blood, diabetes, because of these kind of drinks. And many Mexican families are drinking sodas every day. Has a negative externality in consumption, because later we have to pay the social security for these people who will get sick of this sugar in blood. What to do about it? Well, it's Pigou who mentioned that in that case, with this kind of negative externalities in consumption, we should be using a tax, the tax of Pigou tax. What we're doing today in Mexico is what Pigou mentioned many years ago. There are many other recommendations today, but you can see, guys, that the price of sodas has been increasing in the last year. And the cause of this increase in prices for sodas is because we are using a tax, as according to what Pigou mentioned before. Therefore, when we are drinking this, el IEPS, el impuesto al pecado, so we pay a tax when we are drinking sodas, and we're expecting that because of that tax, we are collecting revenue to later to pay for the social security system to help these people who is getting sick because of this kind of drinks. Well, many people will tell you that this is not working, and it's not working because we are inelastic. When the prices in sodas is increasing, actually, yes, the quantity demanded should be decreasing, but it's decreasing just a little bit because we are inelastic, price inelastic in the case of sodas. And therefore, the tax that Pigou was recommending in these kind of goods that are inelastic seems that it's not working. And still today, and most probably for many of the years in Mexico, we have these health troubles, these health concerns, because we are drinking something like that. Nevertheless, we are using, and many of the countries are using the solution that was proposed by Pigou. Use a tax when you have these kind of externalities.